report that has benefited a country like Nigeria in no small measure in terms of human capital development rippling to social, economic and infrastructural growth. However, it is established that the prospect of a fulfilling academic pursuit is best developed at the foundational level. The reason why the federal government of Nigeria in 1999 launched universal basic education to provide free, universal and compulsory education for Nigerian children between ages 6 and 15 years. Welcome to Dateline 360. I am Omotola Omojola, and on this edition, we take on basic education in Nigeria, the successes, challenges and prospects for excellence and school enrollment. We take off from the Federal Capital Territory, where Ilyasu Onotu Yakubu reports that scaling up quality assurance through monitoring and enforcement in all schools, the Federal Capital Territory Universal Basic Education System continues to refuse all forms of compromise to sustain standards in both public and private schools in the territory.
The Universal Basic Education Board is the regulatory and coordinating body for all basic education and schools of special needs in the FCT. With this mandate, it is also in charge of managing the infrastructure development of the schools. In this regard, all government schools, including some private schools, benefit from the three sources of funding.
We have interventions to private schools in terms of funding so that they will be able to improve on the infrastructure available. And that funds is being released on yearly basis. And we have what you call self-help projects. That one goes directly to the communities.
Presently, UBEB has 321 early child care development and education ECCDE centers with an enrollment figure of 27,036. 559 primary schools, including nomadic schools, with enrollment figure of 21,929, as well as 159 junior secondary schools with enrollment figure put at 116,585 students. In view of this, the authorities seem to be carrying everyone along with the special provisions for students and teachers in special schools.
The government have tried itself for facilitating renovations as well as funding the education itself. So therefore this one government has done its best.
Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world.
Learning gives me the knowledge that I need to always do the right thing.
Being a student is coming to school to have education and acquire knowledge.
The fight against COVID-19 has been a long one, and teachers training is an ongoing program in batches to enable them adjust to the new norm occasioned by the pandemic.
Currently, the FCT Universal Basic Education Board is running a training for our teacher, what we call the teachers professional development training. The training is ongoing, and it's actually post-COVID training, and it is being financed by the Universal Basic Education Commission. So the commission earmark certain amount of funds every year for the training of our teachers.
From all gathered evidence, the FCT UBEB seem to be having a considerable smooth sail in the management of its basic schools infrastructure, at least judging by the structures on ground. Although, in every situation, there is always room for improvement, and this is the task before the coordinating authorities. One thing that is more reassuring in FCT schools is the safety measures put in place to help curtail the spread of COVID-19 in Abuja. Ilyasu Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
Now, Imo State is known for the pursuit of learning, where the Universal Basic Education Program has helped to also increase the enrollment level of school children in recent years. That nonetheless, Kate Osonwa reports that stakeholders are worried about the challenge of infrastructure to meet the demands created by the increase in enrollment.
The 9 years uninterrupted basic education system has recorded successes to an extent in Imo State, as it ranks one of the states with high performance in external examinations in recent times. The affordable and accessible system, described as rewarding by stakeholders, has resulted in increase in population recorded annually.
In Imo State, it is working very well because we have many enrollment in the school. Parents are coming to enroll their children or worse to our schools.
This is Basic 4 class of Model Primary School, New Owerri. According to teachers, the universal basic education is working in the school as it has increased the enrollment level. But poor infrastructure and lack of desk and other basic educational materials, as you can see here, for pupils to learn with, could mar the actualization of the program in the states.
We have gone around and taken photographs of every dilapidated building in each of the wards. That will be for rehabilitation of all primary and secondary schools. Anyone that the roof is leaking, we re-roof. Anyone that doesn't have door, we put doors. All the dilapidation, we'll make sure we take care of them.
Other experts in basic education who proffered ways of realizing human and national aspirations, which is the main objective of basic education program, say it can be achieved through acquisition of literacy, numeracy, and lifelong skills with moral and civic values.
In all the subjects, including English language, mathematics, social studies, and any other subjects, the child should be at the center, and he should explore while the teacher facilitates. It's no longer a time where the teacher dominates, says it, regarding the child to be a tabula rasa. No. At this point, put the child in play. Expose the child in the environment. Let the child know what you want him to learn, and the child discovers it. And then you now evaluate the child to know whether what you have, your stated objectives are achieved.
Paucity of fund. UNESCO have recommended the money allocation or budget towards education, but in Nigeria it's still not being implemented.
The state government's 50% counterpart funds, in addition to federal government incentives through the UBE Commission in Imo State, is said to have led to the establishment of the Federal Science and Technology College in Jaba, among other projects.
It is an encouragement by the federal government to Imo State.
In Owerri, Kate Osonwa for Deadline 360.
One of the aim of the universal basic education is to see to the success of the first 9 years of schooling, which is expected to ultimately reduce intergenerational poverty and accelerate national development. Elizabeth Yila Lamido reports that more than 3 million children have been enrolled into the free and compulsory basic education system in Kano State in the past 1 year. While the number is impressive, a survey, however, revealed that out-of-school children is still a challenge.
I used to be in school, but they removed me. I would like to be a teacher one day.
Mujahid Yusuf is a 10-year-old boy who lives in a small village in Kano State. He has been out of school for 5 years, but with a burning aspiration to be a teacher one day. Mujahid is one out of many children who are out of school or have never been enrolled into the system, having life ambitions that may never be fulfilled. A visit to some schools in Kano metropolis, it was observed that while some are in good condition with equipped classrooms, the story is rather different in other schools visited. This is a classroom for primary 4 pupils right in the heart of Kano. As you can see, the children are seated on chairs supported by concrete, and there are no windows, as well as the roofing has no ceiling. It is based on these said problems and the mandate for the universal basic education system in Nigeria which is to provide equal basic and quality education for every child, that Kano State government declare free and compulsory education in the state.
After the introduction of this policy of free and compulsory education, now the enrollment increased to 3.8 million children in the school. We experienced windstorm damage, whereby many schools were damaged in the state. And His Excellency constituted a committee, which I'm chairing. We go around 44 local government, both primary and senior secondary school. At the end, when we finally conclude, we discover that the state government will spend about 30 billion naira in rehabilitation of schools damaged by windstorm. I'm not talking about the initial schools that need renovation, dilapidated schools.
With more than 7,000 schools and 60,000 teachers in Kano, there is need for constant training and retraining for pupils in public schools to be able to compete favorably with their counterparts in private schools.
Due to this policy of free and compulsory education, you see many classrooms are congested. You see a classroom of over 100 pupils in a classroom. While in a private school, definitely see a classroom of more than 20, 15, 20, 21, 22. When teaching and learning is taking place in a smaller group, definitely learning take place more effectively than in a congested class.
With 25% of its budget geared towards improving the quality of education, the state government have also approved the sum of 1.5 billion naira for the 2020 intervention project for universal basic education in the state. It is hoped that with policies like this, Mujahid and his likes will be able to realize their dreams one day. In Kano, Elizabeth Yilalamido for Dateline 360.
Horrible years of Boko Haram activities have no doubt impacted negatively on the fortunes of basic education in Yobe State, as repeated attacks on pupils, teachers and school infrastructure have dealt a serious blow and setback to the education sector in general. Nevertheless, Adam Yusuf Ali reports that with the relative peace now being enjoyed in the state, efforts by government, national and international non-governmental organizations is changing the narrative.
For more than a decade now since the extremist group launched violent assaults on the sector, many primary and secondary school teachers as well as students have either been killed, injured or threatened with reported destruction of educational infrastructures. This culminated into widespread fear and uncertainties among communities, parents and learners of basic, secondary as well as tertiary education levels, just as in the case of an injury to one is an injury to all. The adverse effects of the insurgency cannot be overemphasized, as many reports indicated that during the peak of the menace, the enrollment level has drastically reduced, especially at ravaged communities, and instructors who survived one form of attack or the other have deserted their duty posts, leaving the sector in limbo. However, with peace gradually taking root in the state following the liberation of towns and villages once under the occupation of the extremist group, past and present governors in the state, with support from some national and international non-governmental organizations, the sector is now gaining its strength, as all destroyed schools have been renovated, more teachers recruited, and instructors of basic and secondary school levels are being given psychosocial support for better performance.
What the ministry, the government is supposed to do, we have actually done it. We have even done it in excess. We are hoping that that will translate into good performance.
We have two scenarios in Yobe. Northern Yobe, near empty classes. These are Boko Haram infested areas. So when you go around, you see maybe in the whole class, maybe 10 students or 10 pupils around. And, most of the teachers are not there because of the insurgency and so on. But when you come to the cities, the southern Yobe, when you come to the cities, so on, you have overcrowding. So you need to have two strategies for them. Here, advocacy. You have to advocacy, you have to look for, you have to do some campaign and so on through traditional rulers, using the SBC, PTA, and so on, to encourage people to come to school. On the other side, you have to work hard to decongest the classes.
More so, the state government has also constructed 7 model schools, a strategy designed to further change the narrative.
We have decided to now build model schools around the 7 cities in Yobe.
When the environment is very conducive, it enrolls children, it attracts parents to bring their children to the school, and then it makes the children to be always very punctual. They remain in the school and they complete their education in the school. So it's going to really honestly improve.
This, many say, is beginning to yield many positive results as the bars of enrollment are shooting up and pupils' performance is said to be satisfactory, even as the intentions by the better education service delivery for all is helping to reduce the number of out-of-school children. In Damaturu, Adam Yusuf Ali, NTA News.
Without teachers, there can be no learning. That is a statement of fact. This appears to be hampering basic education in the rural parts of Niger State, as reported by Fatima Usman. Despite sustained improvement in enrollment of children in Niger State, she says willingness of teachers to live and work in rural communities remain a huge challenge, just as she reports that the enrollment of boys is higher than that of girls.
Statistics made available to NTA News by the Niger State Universal Basic Education Board projects a steady increment of 6 to 10% enrollment of pupils annually in the last 5 years. 721,980 and 765,385 were the enrollment figures for 2017-2018 and 2018-2019 academic sessions respectively. Of the recorded statistics, however, the enrollment of the girl child is still 30% short of what is obtainable to that of the male child due to a number of factors.
Some local governments that on their own, they are conducting enrollment drive campaign. They campaign to their own community to bring every child of school age to school. In some local government also, the distance between one school and another is very far. Most of our communities up to now, they don't believe in female education because they think if the female are in primary school when they in age of poverty that they want them to move or to marry them to their husband, it will be a problem with government.
Primary school education is termed basic because it is the foundation upon which all other educational qualifications are being built, making the quality and quantity of teachers paramount to achieving objectives. In the area of infrastructure, the gap is gradually closing up as regards basic education with 30% deficit.
In fact, we should say that the quality before was around 60 to 65%, but now it has increased to up to 70%. So it is this achievement. The last recruitment we did, about over 1,500 teachers. In fact, the chairman maintained that everybody must come from the area where there is deficit, so that those people should close up that gap. So you must stay in the area you come from.
As regards enforcing standards in basic education, the government has in place a decentralized system where the Local Government Service Commission, the Ministry for Local Government, and the Niger State Universal Basic Education Board play complementary roles in enforcing standards ranging from training and retraining, infrastructural development, welfare to administration.
The chairman is preparing for even e-teaching at the school levels. The school will have a tablet with curriculum, with lesson notes, with everything inside there.
All efforts to get the officials of the Niger State Ministry for Local Government to comment on the welfare of the primary school teachers in the state prove abortive, as the state civil servants are presently on industrial strike with non-payment of local government staff, including primary school teachers, as part of the reason for the industrial action. In Mina, Fatima Usman, reporting for Dateline 360.
It all all seem picture perfect as far as basic education is concerned in Ekiti State, where it is reported that infrastructure development, manpower training and curriculum implementation, as well as monitoring, are some of the strategies introduced by the state to enhance enrollment in public school and provide quality education. Ayodeji Ogunshaki tells us more.
Example, I want us to read our multiplication table of 4.
In Ekiti State, successive administrations have evolved one education program or the other to ensure effective implementation to encourage enrollment of pupils, but its result seems to be unencouraging. To make the policies satisfy the aspiration of people and to make it popular through effective implementation, the state government has evolved means of encouraging the enrollment level for basic education, as this was done through provision of infrastructure to handle population and effective implementation of curriculum.
We have what we call explosion in the public primary schools enrollment, or basic school enrollment this year. We are coping with the infrastructure facilities. We are still looking forward, right, to get some infrastructure facilities for the ones that we are going to be using for DC, ECCDE, pupils in daycare. The government is, is encouraging us by building schools and renovating the existing ones.
The enrollment has increased tremendously because of the activities and some of the programs of our Excellency, the Governor of Ekiti State, Dr. John Kayode Fayemi, the provision of instructional materials to schools, renovation of some of our dilapidated buildings in our various schools. This has made the school to improve in terms of enrollment tremendously. And even many parents that have their children and was in a private school, they are now withdrawing them to public school, because if you look at our classroom, you will see that there are a lot of changes in the school environment and every other thing.
This can also be confirmed as the state universal basic education has developed a versatile continuous quality assurance department that monitors the implementation of the curriculum in schools for effectiveness.
We are improving, we are acclimatized with the curriculum, so that we can see that due to the seminar that we are going here and there, we can see that the level has increased the knowledge of the teachers. And we can see that the students, they are benefit a lot from it.
To ensure proper implementation of the policy, government reward system has also paid off with the availability of human resources, training and capacity buildings for implementers.
3 weeks ago, we trained about 2,725 teachers. When it comes to motivation, right, we are motivating teachers, to really perform, optimally. We have just recruited about 600 teachers now, right, to complement what we have on ground.
Everything has changed. We can see initially most of the pupils, they will have nothing to eat, but the government of the day is trying just to see that the foundation is far, far better of what we can take it to be before.
In Ekiti State has improved because the teachers are doing their work very well. Compared to the previous days when we are having a strike day in, day out.
The percentage level of students graduating to secondary school in the state, which has been on the increase compared to the previous year, showed sharp increase from what it used to be as 45,771, which represents 92% of total number of pupils graduated from primary schools to JSS level in the present academic session. From Ekiti, Ayodeji Ogunshaki, NTA News.
And with that package from Ayodeji, we call it a date on this edition of Dateline 360. I am Omotola Omojola. On behalf of the production crew, I say thank you for your time.
Thanks for joining us on the program. I am Omini Oden. Road accidents has remained a major source of concern to governments and all people irrespective of status. Governments across the world had been making concerted efforts on ways to reduce road accidents to minimum level. Sometimes accidents on highways are on the increase as the year winds up due to high volume of traffic on the road with the attendant struggle for many to accomplish set goals before the end of the year. Nigeria, for instance, between July and September 2020, recorded about 1,076 deaths from road accidents with 2,656 road crashes and over 4,494 vehicles involved in the short period of July and September. Also, 6,539 people rescued alive without injuries. In all, about 14,483 people were involved in the period under review, prompting the Federal Road Safety Corps to create special patrol operations to cover effectively as possible patrol operations on the highways. Public opinion views that road accidents are due to reckless driving, overloading, overspeeding, and disregard for traffic rules and bad roads, in some instances, rickety vehicles. Tonight on the program, we will be focusing on road accidents and safety, especially with the increase in the volume of traffic towards the end of the year. But before then, let's take a listen to this background report put together by Oyemi Ajayi.
Lord David is a passenger in one of the parks at the FCT as he heads to Ekiti State for his Christmas celebration. On his mind is how to get to his destination safely, as it forbids any accidents on the way.
This is my first time of actually entering this car, so I can't say about the driver, but yes, we hope that the journey, goes smoothly. We hope the driving speed limit and all that, we hope everything goes smoothly.
Damilola is just like many with the hope of safety on the highways, but some ain't no more to tell their stories, while many who survive still have unforgettable scars and marks as reminders. Road traffic crashes is said to have the highest number of deaths globally, with Nigeria found in this bracket. According to the FRSC statistics, 8,527 road traffic crashes happened across the country between January and November 2019, with 12 deaths daily. In the first quarter of 2020, the same statistics revealed 3,947 road traffic crashes with 1,758 deaths, and it is believed that more crashes are recorded in the fourth quarter yearly due to the high vehicular movements.
We have identified critical areas that people are concentrating on, black spots, accident-prone areas, and we want to do a lot of traffic calming and traffic control this period to make sure that people move according to demand. And we are discouraging night journeys. We are procuring alcoholizers, breathalyzers to test people, because we know this is the period that most people drink and drive. And speed governors, speed limiting device campaign has been intensified, and we are also enforcing it, while we are using our radar guns to detect speed-invested vehicles.
Just like Damilola, many are already embarking on journeys to see their loved ones, and this culminates into the high vehicular movement during the Ember period. And now, cautions have been made to motorists during this period.
I will call on the road users to make sure that they check these vehicles, these drivers, when they are on the highway, so that to make sure they are the qualified drivers that are supposed to apply our rules, so that to avoid any inconveniences or any accident on the highways.
On their part, the FRSC will not be leaving any stone unturned in ensuring zero road crashes, as more enforcement and arrests will be made.
Very soon we will close offices and do skeletal work, where senior officers from the rank of deputy commander, even the commander, will have to be in the field to
to ensure that people comply with the rules and regulations.
In the face of COVID-19, the safety protocols are said to be respected, including provision of sanitizers at parks, as well as physical distancing in vehicles.
I want to confirm to you that we are still maintaining a social distance. And whenever you come to the motor parks, you have to make sure that we sanitize you before you come to the motor park. And before you enter the motor that you are entering, we have to make sure that we fumigating it. And also I want to assure you that we are carrying only 3 passengers for center and the 2 for back, 1 for front.
It is believed that if these measures are put in place and well respected, the likes of Damilola David and many other travelers won't have anything to worry about as safety becomes inevitable. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi.
Oyeyemi Ajayi's background sets the tone for the takeoff of the program tonight, and at some point, our phone lines will be open. If we are told to you, please turn down the volume of the television set in making your point, and please be polite in the use of your language. Also tonight, you can be part of the conversation through our Twitter handle at Tuesday Live NTA. In the course of the program, we shall also be taking reports across the country, all to keep us abreast of what plans are in place and how aware the motoring public is doing ahead of the end of the year. Tonight, I'm being joined across our studios by, right here, I have the Deputy Commercial Kayode Fanola, MNI, Deputy Commercial Operations. Good to have you on the program tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Wadata Aliyu Bodinga is the Directorate of Road Traffic Services, Federal Capital Territory. Welcome to Tuesday Live.
Thank you for having me.
Tonight we have Alhaji Najim Usman Nasi Yassin, Deputy President, NLC, and Regional Chairman, International Transport Federation, Africa. Welcome to Tuesday Live. Okay, and we shall be joined via Zoom by Sam Smart as soon as the signal is up. I'm told it's not ready yet. So let's begin by saying, let me start by, as much as we know there are strategies to obey COVID-19 protocols, we won't go to that now. Let's go into an overview.
All right.
Would you say 2019, 2020 comparatively, is it an improvement or a regression? Traffic generally.
Okay. Generally, we talk about traffic. Well, the year 2020 had been a very special year in the sense that immediately after the month of January, we begin to hear about COVID-19. And there is no way we are going to write the history of the year 2020 in terms of anything without mentioning COVID-19. It affected so much activities. So road traffic was a major victim of COVID-19. I tell you, there was a sudden drop in the traffic on the roads, and eventually government had to give order of a lockdown. And in fact, government stopped interstate movement, and they're allowing only agricultural items, pharmaceutical items, and so on. So that brought a drastic reduction in traffic on the highways, and then so it affected every other thing. The level of crashes dropped, and then it also affected a lot of interaction within the town. That is, intra-urban traffic was also grossly reduced compared to what it is on a normal day. So when you look at the year 2019 and 2020, in fact, there is no basis for comparison. In the year 2019, we had a normal traffic throughout the 12 months, 52 weeks. But for this year, traffic has suffered as a result of COVID-19. I mean, the traffic was not normal, because when you look at traffic, especially intra-urban traffic, it's like, as a human being, the blood that is running in you is what shows that you are alive. It is the traffic that shows that the city is alive. If you get out of your house in the morning, you come out and you didn't see traffic on the road, you didn't see movement of vehicles, people, cyclists, pedestrians on the road, you will go back to your house. That means there is no life in that city. So suddenly, COVID-19 took life out of the cities.
So would that have been responsible for the low volume of accidents?
Yes.
Or is it even with this, it increased?
So, but even with that, when you look at, we don't talk about it in absolute terms. It's absolute terms. We talk about in relative terms. For instance, on the average, in a normal setting, maybe average daily traffic on Lagos, Ibadan Road, let's say, average of 150 vehicles, per minute. That has reduced to maybe 10 vehicles per minute because of the restrictions. But those 10 vehicles are still getting involved in accidents. So we are now looking at the level of crashes where we had just an average of 10 vehicles per minute. So when you look at it from that angle, I tell you the crashes were still relatively high.
Okay, let's go to Alhaji Najim before I take on the director of road traffic. Alhaji Najim, you coming from your position as the regional chairman, International Transport Federation Africa, what's your analysis regarding safety of our roads? Looking at it holistically, not just rickety vehicles, not just the roads, not just inexperienced drivers. What is your analysis of the safety of our roads?
Thank you very much. The safety of our roads have to be, we have a very good road network, and because some of our roads, it needs government attention, which government have been trying its best, and those roads have to be put in place, because sometimes when roads are okay, you will find a very free flow of vehicles. And sometimes, because of the road how it is, it always causes people overspeeding, the drivers and whatever. So the safety of our roads is to make sure that we have some drivers who comply by the road sign, plying the roads.
What are road users come in two categories? You have the motorists, you have the commuters, you have the drivers, you have the passengers. But what concerns your directorate is in terms of who qualifies, how good is driving. Would you say truly that what we have on the roads is a win-win, or just look the other way, we're on track?
Well, thank you very much. I think we cannot say we are actually having a win-win situation. But win-win situation is achievable if, for example, everybody is ready to do his part. Just like what you said, we have the operators who are the drivers now on the wheels, and we equally have the commuters. And each one of them should actually be like a coordinator to the other. If the driver is not behaving so well, it's the commuter's right to actually come up and say, look, stop overspeeding with me. It's my right. Why are you overspeeding? This road is supposed to be at this limit, and why are you overspeeding? So, meaning that the commuters too should be watchdog of the drivers and their activities. Because you will agree with me that the activities of driver, especially on the wheel, the behaviors, if you look within the city, the recklessness at which people beat traffic light, for example, and the way people are doing one way on major roads, you know that that is actually not acceptable. But they are doing this with people inside. So that is where the commuters now have a role to play. These commuters that are inside, somebody is toying with your life. So you have the right to tell the driver, no, you can't go against the traffic, you can't beat traffic light or you cannot even do one way when I'm inside. If you are alone, quiet, if you fail to adhere, it's a different thing. So I think the commuters too need to actually add to what the road traffic agencies are actually doing on the road in order to ensure that we curb the excesses of this recklessness on our roads. Even in terms of the condition of vehicle itself, the driver, the commuter, can resist and say, I won't enter a vehicle that is not roadworthy. Bring another one that is good. Look at the tire. Look at everything so that you know you have a choice. And if all the passengers resist and refuse, then the operator has no option but to bring a roadworthy vehicle. So that is where I said both actually the driver and the commuters should put heads together so that we have a safer road.
But I'm told that Sam Smart, professor with National Open University and Public Affairs Analyst, is joining us via Zoom, is on now. Good to see you on the program tonight.
Thank you very much.
Still on you, please. What will you tell us is your appraisal of how safe our roads are, mostly as we approach the end of the year? Quickly.
Very much. What I see of the road is the road network systems are actually overtasked. There are no alternatives to people traveling. The railways are collapsed, and so there's an excessive pressure on all the roads, and therefore the state of the roads have become very precarious and unable to sustain the volume of traffic upon these roads, particularly when the end of the year comes and so many people have to travel either for Christmas or because their offices are no more open towards the end of the year. So I think the pressure on the roads have increased and therefore affected the quality of the roads. Some of them are actually poorly built in the first place. Every rainy season washes away roads. And then the volume of traffic and the weight on all the articulated vehicles on these highways actually hasten the lifespan of the roads so constructed. So in a nutshell, this volume of traffic and the poor quality of roads constructed across the length and breadth of the country, as well as, of course, the fact that there are no alternatives, increases a lot of risks on the highways. Let me say that traveling is a social activity. A social activity because people must travel. They'll have one good reason or the other to travel. Even bad people travel. Bad people because they might be criminals. They may have to travel and move from one point to the other for their nefarious activities. So we can't say that people cannot travel. What I think has actually also contributed largely to the declining quality of our highways is the fact that we do not even have a framework that encourages seasonal approaches to managing traffic on the highways. Earlier today, I was talking about public safety and traveling, transportation, and actually the administration of transportation is a very critical element of public safety regulation. And it's the responsibility of a number of personnel, as we have them on this program tonight, particularly the VIOs and the Federal Road Safety Corps. Perhaps what I may want to add is the Joint Task Force that is made up of several other paramilitary and other security agencies. Now, the combination of these forces, this personnel, to a large extent does not also encourage free flow of traffic, particularly where they are supposed to be stationed and encourage public traffic movement. they are not there. So where accidents actually are likely to occur and have the kind of devastating effects that we saw in the background reports, you do not find this personnel there to ensure regulation on the speed. So generally, the quality of our roads, therefore, reflects a number of national issues, which range from the poor quality of the roads, overuse of the roads, and also lack of framework to know that particular seasons attract particular volumes of transportation and traffic. Therefore, those managing our roads should be able to intensify certain actions and provide certain resources, particularly personnel, that can aid in ensuring smooth movement of people. Of course, we cannot remove the factor of travelers, the traffickers. Of course, we use traffickers here very narrowly, so that doesn't suggest that we're talking of human traffickers on the highway.
Let me hold it there for now. I'll come back to you. Back to you, Deputy Corps Marshal. Prof has raised a number of issues, but quickly, let me take you on the one of seasonal approaches to highways. Part of the reasons we did this towards the end of the year, you see this rush, people are rushing as the world has come to an end, which relates to what he has talked about, seasonal approaches to managing the highways. So let me ask this now. We're in December and towards January. Volume of traffic increases. How prepared, how ready is the Federal Road Safety Corps? What plans are in place? Let's leave COVID-19 for now. What plans are in place to ensure that our roads are safe, our motoring public have it easy to and through their destinations within this period?
Thank you very much for this question. As usual, the Federal Road Safety Corps is prepared for this period. It is a special period for us and for the motoring public. So before the month of December, we have started preparing. Just even before the Ember month started, we do what we call road audits. We take a holistic view of the road, the failing and the failed portions of it, the parts that, we're in the tropics. We experience up to like 8-9 months of rainfall. So some parts of the road will undergo erosion, there is sand deposition, there is vegetation, encroachment, there is social, economic activities taking place along the roads, causing encroachment. So that's the first thing we do, a road audit, and this road audit report is submitted to the Federal Ministry of Works and to FEMA, so that they will know where issues are that need to be corrected within this period. After that, we embark on massive public enlightenment. We go out of our way to meet people where they live, where they work, and where they pay attention. Nigerians are religious people. So we go to churches, we go to mosques, then we go to the marketplaces where we know that they are going to listen to us, where they will not see us as law enforcers, where they are going to see us as their friend who has come and tell them something that they need to understand and they need to take to. So, when people see us on the road, of course, by that time we are traffic law enforcers, and it is going to be a road safety officer versus somebody who has possibly done something wrong and want to correct the person. But when we go to meet them in the marketplace, we go to meet them in the churches, we go to meet them in the mosque, they listen to us. So we begin to do that, sensitizing people to this period that you just talked about. Then we also go ahead, to consult with our sister security agencies. We don't say we are road safety and we can do it all alone. No. We still need the cooperation of our sister security agencies to assist in traffic law enforcement and then the control of traffic, because we know that this period, like I said earlier, traffic volume is going to increase. You see the average daily traffic on all the corridors is going to, in fact, increase sometime by over 200% to 300%. And in fact, on the 23rd, 24th of December, you can see up to 500 to 600% increase in the volume of traffic. It's like, for instance, the whole of the city of Abuja, everybody will just wake up and begin to go to their village or villages. So we prepare for this, and we prepare for it not in the form of law enforcement, but rather through advocacy, enlightenment, letting people know that for you to be able to go to your state or to your village, to your local government, and come back safely, you have a role to play. Everybody has a role to play. So if the drivers play their role, the passengers play their roles, FRSC will play its own role, and our sister security agencies will play their own roles, then the roads become safer for everybody. So what we have done is that we sensitize the people so that they can behave better. And it makes life better, easier, safer for everybody. When all the people, like the VIO officer said, that the passengers have a role to play. If they play their own role, the drivers play theirs, then FRSC will play its own role, and then the road is going to become safer for all of us. So for this period, that is what we have done, and which we are doing, and which we continue to do till we enter the new year.
Okay, before we take our first report, let me take on Alhaji Najim again. Alhaji Najim, from what the Deputy Commissioner said, ensuring safety on our roads is a collective responsibility. The driver and the passengers. If the driver, for instance, is doing the wrong thing and the passengers remain mum, they don't complain, they don't raise alarm. Even when they see road safety officers on the road, they cannot say, this is what this driver is doing. What is your advice in this direction?
Us in this direction is the driver, the passengers, they have to abide by the road sign. And during this period, this is a peak period, which there is a lot of movement from one place to the other because of the festival for the Christmas and the New Year. So my advice to the driver is that they should drive safe, they should not overtake, they should not be overspeeding, and they should not overtake where they did not see where there is bend. Because now this is Harmattan period is coming in, which there is going to be a lot of traffic on the highways. And then the passengers, if they find any driver is overspeeding, they can call his attention, because we pray for them to arrive safely, to arrive alive. So they should call on that driver that you should stop speeding. If you refuse, any next point where they met any security, the road safety, the security agencies on the highway, let them alert them that this driver is overspeeding so that he can reduce the speed. This is my advice to the drivers and also the passengers.
We're going to take our first report, and when we return back, we'll continue with the Director of Routes, Traffic Services, FCT, and Professor Sam Smar. Our first report tonight is coming from Lagos.
Cases like this in Lagos are not isolated, as daily reports of accidents are recorded in several parts of the state. From tanker accidents, commercial and private vehicles, and commercial motorcycles, whose operations, despite being restricted from the highways, have come back. Some residents, however, attribute road accidents to bad roads.
Because sometimes people, because of the over bridge here, people are dying. Some people, before they cross main road, they will look very well for the cross.
The Federal Ministry of Works and Housing says massive investments have gone into road reconstruction and rehabilitation.
It's like Lagos Ibadan. It's an intervention from PIDF, Presidential Infrastructure Development Fund, that is being used to put this road in place. There are other roads like that that we are using PIDF for. Then look at Apapa Oshodi Oworonsoke. It's an intervention program. Then we also have the road that we are using to cook fund to do. Lagos or Tabekuta is one of them.
On a recent visit to Lagos, the Corps Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Boboye Oyeyemi, noted that despite COVID-19, road traffic crashes have gone up. Lagos according to the Federal Road Safety Corps, accounts for 40% of vehicular density in the country. And as the Yuletide approaches, the FRSC says more personnel will be deployed as it has embarked on massive driver enlightenment.
Massive driver enlightenment as emphasis on that report. Quickly, we all now take another report from Port Harcourt, River State.
Some people say has nothing to do with superstition. Rather, it is a period when Nigerian roads witness increased vehicular and human traffic, and usually comes with its attendant consequences resulting from bad attitude of drivers who disobey traffic rules and regulations and bad roads, among others. It therefore becomes imperative that drivers and road users must take advantage of safety campaigns and drivers' education to correct the wrong attitudes of driving to avoid road crashes.
Today is the beginning of our intensive campaign on all Nigeria roads, which we normally call the TAC Operation Zero Road Traffic Crash. You will agree with me, you have started seeing how the whole town and the whole state is becoming the state because people are coming back home. And because of that, we normally increase the tempo of our activity.
Although officials of the Federal Road Safety Corps are contributing their quota to ensure that the rate of accidents is significantly reduced, it is also necessary for the government to intervene.
In River State, we are also very soon going to embark on enumeration and registration of every driving school and instructors, and to see that they are in line with the program of the Federal Road Safety Corps and the program of the River State government.
Some part of the road actually are bad because of collapsed infrastructure. It's a challenge generally across the country. But here in River State, the government is trying to improve on the road infrastructure. I think that is a plus. The human behavior, human character, and disposition must be changed.
Stakeholders say, obviously, bad roads also contribute to the high rate of accidents, but attitude of drivers is a major cause of death on the road.
Our next stop will be from Makadi.
Months are usually characterized by high volume of vehicular movement, while the month of December is always the peak of the period. This has led to incessant road crashes, largely due to deplorable condition of the roads and inadequate traffic campaign to avert avoidable accidents. In Benue State, many roads linking towns and villages have been in terrible situation, making it impossible to reduce number of road crashes, particularly during Yuletide. However, the situation is no longer the same as the federal government has commenced reconstruction and rehabilitation of some major roads linking many towns in Benue State. This has put joy on the faces of Benue people, especially that the intervention will go a long way in averting road crashes, particularly during the Christmas celebration.
This road was very bad, and as we let him know, he can't do it with immediate effect.
Federal Road Safety Corps Benue State Command has also been proactive in ensuring accident-free period by organizing massive campaign against violation of traffic rules. Commercial drivers and other road users were sensitized on the dangers of reckless driving.
And the major duty is to control traffic. Where we have road traffic crash, there attend to victims without any delay.
The combination of road reconstruction and sensitization campaign are expected to reduce road crashes in Benue State significantly.
Reports dotting the landscape of some parts of the country. We'll take more reports in the course of the program. Quickly, let's go to Wadata. Wadata, from listening to the reports, what is your directorate doing regarding a check on those who qualify to drive and who don't qualify to drive? You still have cases, people driving on our roads, intracity, intercity, without driver's license. What are you doing with it?
Yeah, the case of people who actually, when they are on the wheel, drive, and the way they drive when they are actually on test varies. That is where the attitude of human being himself matters a lot. Because when they come for the actual test to obtain the driver's license, you will see that from their houses, they are prepared. They behave well, they did everything well to be able to get the license. But immediately the license has been given to them, then they go highway and continue to behave in a manner that is dangerous, not only to them, but to other road users. And that is why there are law enforcement agencies on the road to curb such kind of excesses. And apart from that too, we equally try as much as possible to organize refresher courses on drivers, especially in the FCT, where you cannot just be a driver and start moving around the city until you come under an operator. So it means that linking us with the drivers become very easy. We can reach out to them through these operators and ensure that from time to time they come in. We come in and give them the required training and retraining so that they can be able to behave well, especially when they are on the wheel. But you know, when you are alone equally, that is why people on themselves must be held responsible for their actions. When you are on the wheel, you need to have that discipline. You need to know that you are actually in charge, especially when you are carrying human lives, and you know a slight error from you can lead to fatal accident. So you really have to pay attention and ensure that you actually perform all those things you are supposed to do when you are on the wheel, which include defensive driving, of course. Because if you are driving defensively, it means that you are saying that, look, the next person is not even an expert driver. I am the only one who is an expert driver. So you have to drive in a manner that you have total control, so that even when there are crashes or accidents, they come with little or no casualty. So I think that's what we are trying to address, apart from the issue of the public enlightenment, which in the FCT we have intensified, especially during this youth-tide period. And in collaboration with the Conference of Road Traffic Officers, jointly all the state agencies of road traffic have actually joined in this fight to ensure that we reduce crashes to the barest minimum.
So, Samsma, I'll come to you. Let me quickly take an issue with Deputy Commercial here, then I come to you. Just bear with him, please. Now, Kayode, please, what I need to pass across to you now, let's go into the new normal now.
Okay.
Besides the fact that the commercial, Boyemi talked about Federal University Court training drivers in some driver instructors in some parts of the country. Yeah. There's a current directive by him to ensure that your men are deployed to all nooks and crannies of the country to ensure that people comply and obey, follow the protocols of COVID-19. Where are we with that?
Okay. When we started, I raised the issue of COVID-19. I said, there's no way we are going to write the history of the year 2020 without mentioning COVID-19. So we have what we call the new normal now. So it has affected everything, and the road traffic inclusive. So FRSC had been in the forefront because road safety is globally a public health issue. It's not just about traffic law enforcement. So we are always in the motor park. We made sure that the park managers, for instance, private parks and the public parks, parks, that we make sure that they provide facilities, hand washing facility, sanitizers, and then they maintain physical distance for the passengers. We had been able to convince the unions, the road traffic unions, and then private fleet operators to ensure that, look, yes, you want to make profit, but you also need to be alive. And your passengers also need to be alive to continue to patronize you for this, your business, to thrive. They need to be alive. And for us to be alive, we must obey the COVID-19 protocols. So we also go to the grassroots because these issues is about attitude. The average Nigerian is still having doubts about COVID-19, despite all the efforts of government. So we have to go to the grassroots to let them know that, look, COVID-19 is real, it is killing people, and it is, in fact, possible that, because the Nigerian population is very young, so a lot of young people are asymptomatic. They have it, but they don't know, and they are not being tested. So he may not fall sick, but he may be giving it to people around him who are old or who have fundamental illnesses that will...
Okay,
so what we're saying is that FRSC has gone extra mile to be in the forefront of campaign to let people understand, because these people generally, they are the road users. They are the passengers, pedestrians, cyclists, and even the drivers. So if we're able to reach the grassroots, tell the people what to do, how to protect themselves, they will have protected the whole society. So our campaign has been geared towards letting people know that they have a responsibility to protect themselves and also protect other people. So on the highway, we ensure that we stop the vehicles at random to check whether people are wearing their face mask, whether the number of passengers comply with COVID-19 protocols.
That takes me to the next question now.
Yeah.
Number of passengers comply with COVID-19 protocols.
Yeah.
Wearing no face mask. You still have cases as we speak.
Yeah.
Even right now, if you go to the streets, you find commercial vehicles applying the roads in total disregard to COVID-19 protocol. Vehicle is fully packed with passengers. They are not using their face masks. Even the driver not using face masks. How are you going about this?
Okay. Like I said earlier, it's not about enforcement. It's about making people understand the fact that you have just one life to live, and that one life, you have a responsibility to protect that life. So when we approach people based on the fact that we are telling them that, look, your life is at stake, they listen to us better. Unlike when we try to stop them on the highway and it's a matter of law enforcement, then they look at you as it is me versus government now. So we have been going to places where we believe they will listen to us more. People don't want to listen to us on the road, because when they see us on the road, they see us basically as traffic law enforcers who have come to enforce the law. Some of them businessmen who believe that we constitute a nuisance to them on the road.
You didn't impound the vehicles?
So no, we do when it becomes absolutely necessary. But however, I will tell you that in the parks, in the standard registered parks, there is high level of compliance. Where we have issues is, people who just stand by the roadside, taxis, Okada riders, who don't have a particular place where we can even talk to them. So those ones, yes, the level of compliance is very low.
For the sake of the passengers who may not know, for an average vehicle, for instance, a taxi or a bus, let's just say a taxi. We're supposed to have one passenger with the driver in front. Given the new normal now, how many passengers are we supposed to have behind, whether inter or intracity?
Okay, for a car, we expect that the driver, a passenger, and at the back, 2 passengers.
Not 3.
Not
4.
Not 4.
But
so that distance.
That seems not to be the case in most cases.
Can be maintained. Yes, from the parks, like I said, from the parks, the drivers' unions comply with these COVID-19 protocols. But where we have issues, all those roadside, unorganized places where people just stop vehicles and enter. Some of the vehicles that load from the park, they will carry the normal passengers that we have advised them to carry, but when they leave, then they go and do something else. So we still go to the highway to wait for them and make sure that we carry out the enforcement. And in some instances, we had to work with the state government where we create mobile courts. Both the passengers and the drivers get prosecuted and they are fined, depending on the arrangement the state governments have made. But the fact remains that we want to tackle the problem from the source, not on the highway. If people know that, okay, this is the right thing that I am supposed to do, it is my life that I need to protect, it is better that way. And we get more people to comply when we do that.
Okay. Alhaji Najim, what is your organization, talking about you are the regional chairman, International Transport Federation African, doing to make the job of the Federal Road Safety Corps and other traffic management agencies in the country a lot easier? For instance, the driver's attitude, the passenger's attitude. If the law says right now for a cab, one passenger in front and two behind, and the driver is not complying with that, what's the organization doing? Also, that everybody in the public space, mostly the commercial vehicles, should put on a face mask, and we're not getting this, making the job of the enforcement agencies a little bit difficult. What is your organization doing towards this direction?
The organization there are designated motor parks, which all what we are saying is being complied by the leadership there. And there are a lot of roadside vehicles. People go at the roadside. By the time they go out, they started behaving as they feel that there is nobody to stop them. But those in the motor parks comply with all these directives. And what I will advise here to the publics who are traveling, they should avoid boarding a vehicle at the roadside. It's risky, man. Let them come to the designated motor parks where they should comply with all the directives. And I will call on the leadership there. They should make sure, because the union provided a sanitizer throughout the motor parks on their own, which before any vehicle should leave the park, they will fleet that vehicles, and then they will make sure that anybody that is going to board that vehicle should comply with the COVID directives, the social distance, and the hand sanitizer, and make sure if you go to any designated motor parks, you'll find all this there, which was provided in the parks. So my appeal to the passengers is to make sure they go to the designated motor park and then call on the leadership there. They should enforce all these rules before any vehicle goes out of their motor parks, so that we can complement what the security agencies are doing in complying with this directive. This is my advice.
So, Sam Smile, what is your perspective regarding traffic management, attitude, and enforcement? What's your perspective?
Well, thank you very much. The first aspect of the question you've asked is traffic management. This is a very huge problem because we have actually identified two sides to the issue, which are the passengers and the drivers. Now, added to that is the law enforcement people, the traffic safety enforcers, the Federal Road Safety, the VIOs, and the National Union of Road Transport Workers. Now, this is a very, very serious issue, because when we talk of attitude to all this, you find that a lot of passengers themselves actually encourage overloading. They encourage the overspeeding of these cars. People find that driving on the highway becomes like a road show. And that road show is in terms of the speed, is in terms of who gets where first, and who loads again. So on the other side, you just find some people who say that, look, driver, you are overspeeding, this is not right, go slowly. And as soon as that is said, the driver increases the speed. So that aspect constitutes a very big attitudinal issue that I think that merely educating people will not solve the problem, as in when, for example, the road safety people are able to impound a car. We used to have this list of people who entered taxis. You write your name, write your phone number, you write your contact, and on departure, I don't know what happens to that list. If that list is in the car, I guess that is the best way to know those who have illegally joined the car on the way. And you can then bring those people and detransport them. And it will really help, because the driver needs the money. And if the passenger is willing to squat in a car that is supposed to have 2 people at the back and 3 in the middle, that is the person's problem. So it becomes something that the enforcers really need to continue to strategize. They need to really see the issues as evolving in nature over a space of time, and need to be creative as to what exactly can be done to salvage the situation. The second part of your question has to do with the entirety of the policies. I hope I got you right. The policies, the framework, which we were actually talking about from the very beginning, needs to actually be revisited, be revived, be re-evaluated. We said about seasonal statistics that vary from one point of the year to the other. We need to actually find out what can be done to ensure that both the traveling public and the service providers see transportation, see traveling as a major public safety issue. And the Federal Road Safety have said that they do a lot of campaigns, they need to do a lot of sensitization and so on and so forth. But I think the structure of those sensitization programs need to be broadened. For example, do you involve parents? Do parents know that they have the power to also tell their child that, look, if you are traveling beyond this point, please don't travel? Do you involve them? We need to involve them. We need to get parents to be decision makers in the life of their children when they are traveling, particularly when the volume of traffic is going to be possibly high. These are the things that I have in mind when I'm talking about the framework. The framework should be broad enough to include all the stakeholders, all the beneficiaries who travel. And this does not just stop at those who sit in the cars and the drivers and those who collect money at the motor park. We need to identify more people that can make more positive contribution in controlling the number. So when we move to the issue of control, the road safety officials have major roles to play. It goes beyond just ensuring that this rise number of people have been admitted into vehicles. It extends to where they can possibly strategize and stand. Of course, what I want to say has to do with the larger, perhaps, security consideration of the country, because I don't expect them to be standing where there are security risks, where isolated places on the highways, whereas they are not armed, so they can, provide their personal security in the first place. But I believe that, like we said, that transportation is a public safety issue. Therefore, it should come into the framework of the national security structure. That structure should let and to make the service providers be part of the considerations and part of the planning for national security. So it is not just traveling, it is not just having a car and registering it at the park to convey people. It's also knowing that there's a huge responsibility attached to providing such service. And there is a way that this can come into the operations of the national security architecture. That will help to not only debar people who don't qualify, whose vehicles are not roadworthy, from making those cars available for services. It's a bit evasive, to say that you are the registrable or recognized motor parks, you have control, but at the other point, you don't have control. The essence of this is, if like what my colleague said earlier, the Deputy Corps Marshal said, if you audit roads, and also know that certain roads during the year, certain points, certain junctions are very busy, then of course you need to draw the attention of all the collaborating law enforcement agencies to deploy personnel to those highway points that can increase visibility of the presence of those who enforce traffic safety. This is very key, because I think that until we see traveling as a social activity, we see traveling as a fundamental rights issue, we also see traveling as an issue that brings a lot of responsibilities to whether they are private car owners and so on. We will not be able to come up with some kind of arrangement that is sustainable, because each season comes with we're just getting ready to prepare for end of year travelings and things like that. No, it should be that from the calendar of the year, we should know that these are the things that should be laid out, and that everyone is aware, everyone is conscious, everyone is involved, everyone is, and I mean, it's a structural issue, nationally, state-wise, and so on. Because
go on break and take other reports. I need the Deputy Corps Marshal to react to a few things. Now, tolerance and managing hold-ups appears a major challenge in ensuring safety on our roads. Yeah. Like Professor Sam Smart talked about it there. You go to certain locations and you find yourself in a hold-up and you ask what happened, only to find yourself, when you cross it, you ask what happened. So how are you going about trying to justify tolerance and managing hold-ups?
Okay. Thank you very much. Like you rightly
across
said,
the country, not just FCT, not maybe Lagos, not Onitsha, but the entire country.
Yeah. You mentioned something very important. You talked about attitude. Okay, it's a major issue for us. That when you cross, you stay for some minutes in a hold-up, and then when you cross a junction, you find out that there is actually nothing there that could have caused that hold-up. The problem is, number one, there is what we call lane discipline, which a lot of drivers don't have. And we have been trying to teach this. You know, for instance, if you have a road, a dual carriageway, and you have maybe 2 lanes on each side, the inner lane, the left one, is the fast lane, which is supposed to be basically for those vehicles, small cars that are moving very fast, while the heavy-duty vehicles or slow-moving vehicles are supposed to be on the right lane. But what you find is that a lot of trailers, tankers, heavy-duty vehicles will be driving on that fast lane. And because they are slow, in the process, they slow down the traffic. So when you get to maybe a junction or a roundabout, those ones are supposed to be moving on the right side, close to the service lane. Maybe they want to stop buses, taxis, they want to stop to drop passengers or pick passengers. They are supposed to be on that side. Now, they are driving on the fast lane. That automatically will slow down the traffic more than necessary. And in the process, you know, people have to begin to look for how to find their way. In the process, within a minute or two, you see people creating 3, 4 lanes where we're supposed to have just 2. That is one major reason. Now, you also find that sometimes there will be traffic officers controlling the traffic out of impatience. Why the traffic officer is busy controlling the traffic for traffic to go on a particular, give priority to a particular road, you see people from the other side forcing their way out. So that officer who is controlling traffic will not be able to leave the traffic to go and arrest one offender. It will be, you know, inappropriate. You still need to concentrate on the major traffic and continue to control it. So for us to be able to avoid this, especially this period now that we are going to be having very heavy traffic, we are appealing to people that they must learn and maintain lane discipline. And that when you create extra lane, 2, 3 other lanes, and block people coming from opposite direction, you have also blocked yourself. Because when you block people that are coming from opposite direction, they cannot go, then you also will not be able to go. So we need patience. There are times when there could be maybe a vehicle has broken down and it is being removed, or it just broke down and the maybe road safety has not even come. The person whose car has broken down is even trying to come out. Before you know it, rather than people slow down and go by the right to move, you just see them creating 3 lanes.
So what does the law say about this kind of deviance?
Of course, when we catch such people, we are going to stop them, book them. Sometimes we enlighten them. If we have found that, okay, trying to arrest maybe 2, 3 people, you will delay 300, 400 other people. You quickly warn them and allow them to go, so that you don't make people, innocent travelers, to suffer for the offense committed by maybe 1 or 2 persons. So sometimes this is the philosophy of traffic management that a lot of motorists don't understand. They will say, road safety, look at that man. What have you done to him? In the process of trying to deal with that one man, you may have to leave your points where you have to help 100, 200 other vehicles to move freely and safely. So it is better to quickly caution that odd defiant and allow him to go, sort of, while you concentrate on controlling and managing the traffic. So, but however, where the situation permits, of course, we make sure that we deal with such people. If the need arises, we impound the car. We take them to our office, then they go through lectures in our office. We take them through highway code, like literally taking them back to school. Because, like I said, it is about...
Do you have testimonies of those who are prosecuted and maybe have been fined or jailed if the need arises?
Well, by virtue of the provisions of the FRS Establishment Act, virtually all the offenses there have specific fine attached to them. And when we issue you that ticket, you will see a section there that says, if you want to waive your right to prosecution, you can go and pay this fine. And more often than not, people prefer to go and pay the fine when they know that, okay, yes, I did it. I did this and it was wrong. So rather than allow road safety to take you to court, you prefer to go and pay the fine. But of course, there are a few situations where the person say, no, I didn't do it. Then we'll take him to court to be prosecuted. Then, like this period we have now, we are going to be having a lot of mobile courts at some very critical areas where we need to physically take
the people before the law. Magistrates will be there, then we prosecute them. The reason for this is let people see that those who do wrong are being punished. That is also a kind of motivation for others to do the correcting, seeing that those who did wrong are being punished.
Okay. Our phone lines are open. You see it displayed on the screen, and also you can join the conversation through our Twitter handle at TwitterLive NTA. But that will be after the break. Stay with us.
For now, the best and most efficient way to avoid getting infected is through regular hygienic and sanitary practices, as well as social distancing. As individuals, we remain the greatest weapon to fight this pandemic. By washing our hands regularly with clean water and soap, disinfecting frequently used surfaces and areas, coughing into a tissue or elbow, and strictly adhering to infection prevention control measures in health facilities, we can contain this virus.
Coronavirus is real. Steps to avoid this pandemic. Wash your hands regularly or sanitize your hands. Keep social and physical distancing. Avoid crowded places. Stay at home unless absolutely necessary. Don't touch your eyes, nose, or mouth if your hands are not clean. Avoid the spread of coronavirus. Coronavirus is real.
NTA Tuesday Live, a network issue-oriented innovation talk show.
And tonight, ensuring safety on our roads is the focus. If you have sent in your tweets, we'll soon address the tweets. Keep them coming. We'll take some reports again, and when we come back, we'll take tweets, take phone calls, and our team of panelists will sustain the conversation. The next report is coming from Kaduna.
Nigerian highways witness higher vehicular movements, especially towards the end of the year and during festive seasons, a trend which sometimes results in gridlock. Gridlock is not the only challenge. Heavy traffic flow also accounts for many road crashes, which at times result to loss of lives and property. The construction of Abuja-Kaduna-Zaria-Kano Highway is meant to bring relief to motorists. The completed portions of the road are now open for free flow of traffic.
During December, we used to have plenty hold up in Kaduna-Zaria Highway, but this time around, the road is empty. Alhamdulillah.
Now, from now to Zaria, at least if you are moving 100 or 110, you reach Zaria at least that kind of 40 to 45 minutes.
Compared to previous years, this intervention has reduced road crashes along the road.
This year, some of the roads have been done, and the directional signs are there adequately now, as so drivers can know and where and how to make use of their vehicles. So, by and large, the roads, the accidents are less than last year, accordingly.
The Federal Road Safety Corps Kaduna State Command says it has intensified sensitization and patrol to ensure accident-free utilized season. As many people will travel to celebrate Christmas and New Year with their loved ones, motorists are advised to obey traffic rules and regulations.
Our next stop.
In Nigeria comes with attendant traffic challenges, some of which include heavy vehicular movement and gridlock, as well as auto crashes. Already, the Federal Road Safety Corps, RS51 Edo State, has identified 10 flashpoints and 18 routes in the state, while also dividing the state into 15 different parts for robust traffic control in collaboration with other sister organizations.
The local initiative which we put in place is that very early in the morning, we'll send our traffic operatives to those places before people will wake up. And also, we have a system which we will put in place that will be calming traffic also, so that people don't go on excessive speed. The public enlightenment is ongoing.
The federal government, through the Ministry of Works and Housing, is carrying out special repairs on federal roads to make movement easy.
The road construction has been on and they are ongoing. Make the road comfortable for the people and also to reduce the insecurity which the bus spot had caused. And that's why the government had made it compulsory for all the contractors to go right on the road so that the life of the people will be safe.
As momentum continues to gather ahead of the festivities, motorists and other road users are advised to avoid the 3 I's: indiscipline, intolerance, and impatience for a hitch-free celebration.
Oka, Anambra State is the next report.
Its road traffic accidents have become an issue of great concern, as it is one of the leading causes of death globally, a trend which has reached an alarming stage, prompting action from government and relevant stakeholders. Therefore, efforts geared towards reducing road carnage on the highways, especially during festive periods, is a step in the right direction, with available records revealing that one of the major issues facing safety on Nigerian roads today is overspeeding and lack of concentration. It has become imperative for the Federal Road Safety Corps to intensify efforts to check the trend.
Road traffic crash does not happen. There must be a reason for the crashes. And all road traffic crashes are avoidable and can be prevented. They are attributed to drivers. Drivers have the power to either decide to choose to have a crash or decide to choose to not to have a crash if you can follow the safety rules.
So what we have done to sustain traffic activity, bring safety, peace, and ethics of driving on the road is basically to bring these collaborative efforts and tidy them up to adapt to what we want to achieve.
Government efforts to enhance safety of commuters in Anambra State during the season is also visible with the reconstruction of the Enugu-Onitsha dual carriage linking the southeast region to other parts of the country. One lane of this trunk A road, which used to be travelers' nightmare, especially during festivities when there is influx of heavy vehicular movement, will be open to commuters this December.
They've agreed that they will open it for just the period of the Christmas, and so that people will be able to move unhindered.
Although the number of lives lost in road accidents indicate a downturn in recent time as a result of government's massive investment in infrastructure, experts in safety matters say all hands must be on deck to ensure safety on the highways.
Niger State is next.
Niger State has the largest landmarks in Nigeria, which is why it has one of the longest routes of Trunk A roads, otherwise known as federal roads. Sadly, these roads have been in deplorable state, begging for urgent attention, especially of the federal government. According to the Federal Road Safety Corps, statistics of road carnage in the state from January to November this year totals about 321 crashes, an increase in the number of auto crashes on Nigerian roads. Stakeholders argue that they are not as a result of deplorable condition of roads, but lack of compliance with traffic rules by some road users.
Obey the temple traffic rules. Knowing how to drive, know bear in your mind that you should drive to be safe. No matter how bad the road, all I know is all roads in Niger State are passable. You may find it difficult to pass it, but we are making sure it's passable.
Sometimes in Nigeria, when the road is bad, it reduces accidents. I'm made to believe that the better the road, the more accident, because our drivers are not cultured.
The mechanical factor, the human factor, and also the environmental, which is the road. So, but mostly, in every 10 accidents, certainly 7 is human factor.
Quite a number of the crashes that we have recorded here. A major factor is what we refer to as speed limit violation. When you are moving in a road that has potholes and some other challenges, the highway code also stipulates that in such situation, you are supposed to apply common sense speed limit.
For both commercial and private road users, stakeholders advise that traffic rules are adhered to, particularly in the Uletile, with heavy traffic flow to prevent negative consequences, even as road reconstruction is ongoing.
We're not done yet with reports. We'll take more reports after we sustain the conversation tonight. Now, a couple of tweets have come in. Before I go to other guests, the first one is particularly addressed to the Deputy Corps Marshal. It's coming from Luther King 03. It says, "Good evening. I want to ask Mr. Kayode Fanola if Niger State, particularly Bida and Mokwa axis, are part of the motor park sensitization he talked about, because they normally carry 8 passengers, including the driver, in a small car, and are either arrested and are neither arrested for overloading." How do you react to this?
Well, thank you for that question. It's part of why we're here, to know what is going on in specific environments. I think that is a very odd one, because we know that, yes, there is overloading, but more often than not, like I said, it's not from the parks, But if it is being done right in the park, designated park, then the leadership of that park, the union leaders, whether it is maybe RTW or retainers, the case may be, will get across to them and we'll try to stop it.
And for emphasis, says Bida and Mokwa axis. So you should have your command there.
So yeah, we do. So we'll deal with the matter appropriately.
Okay, the next one, quickly before I do to other panelists, is Buba Yaza. Among the accidents demography, sir, can you give us the exact figure of accidents that occurs as a result of brake failure, relatively figures that as a result of road constructions?
Okay, good question. What I can tell you is that a lot of crashes that we have been having that can be attributed to brake failure has to do with the heavy-duty vehicles. You agree with me that a lot of the trailers and tankers that we have on the Nigerian roads are very old. Some of them are as old as 40 years. So those ones, a lot of the time that they are involved in crashes, the root cause is, traceable to brake failure, mechanical issues, but more often than not, the brake fails and you see the vehicle run into other vehicles or run off the road. I will not be able to give figure right now and say maybe he didn't. The question is too. He was not specific. If he says maybe in the past 6 months or within the last 1 year, then I can give figures.
Maybe we use your discretion here.
Okay, all right. So I will not be able to give, but outside of here, I can give him all the figures that he wants for whatever reason, for whatever purpose. Then the issue of road construction, yes. Somebody just said 3 factors: human factor, mechanical factor, and the environment. It is the man who is the manager of the 3. The man, the driver, should be able to manage the vehicle manage the environment, that is the road condition, and the traffic situation. And that is when we're going to have safety. So if we have all the roads very good, it will not be enough. However, I am not saying that bad road is not part of the factors. It is. But funny enough, we record more accidents in Nigeria. We record more crashes in environments where the roads are very good. That is the truth. So, and why is it like that? It is because people take advantage of good roads to speed. They speed, they are reckless. So I agree with that person who is saying, yes, there is the issue of brake failure and there is the issue of bad road. Yes, they are very important factors, you know, in...
okay, let's take our first caller tonight. Our first caller, Pius, is calling in from Oka, Anambra State. Hello, Pius.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
I want to say that we, the road users, we majorly prefer road safety when they are on sensitization course, especially when they put on that their apron, directing motorists, clearing the roads, directing traffic. We prefer them, and this is the best thing they will do for us this Christmas season. Instead of enforcing the law, most often when they're on the road, we see them as revenue collectors. That's the job we see they do. They are more of collecting revenue for the government instead of sensitizing people. How else will you explain why they will be at the back portion of the road, back portions of the road, trying to catch motorists not using seatbelts? So ask yourself, which one is more dangerous, the bad road or the seatbelt? I think the seatbelt will prevent you from maybe harm when something happens. The bad road can cause something to happen. So if they will help us, let them put on their apron, go to where there are heavy traffic, conduct traffic there, direct motorists. If there are diversions, better use of the road than trying to check seatbelt or those other things. Nobody wants to die. Everybody prefers his life. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pius. Pius called in from Oka, Anambra State. Maybe you just need to react quickly before I go to another panelist.
Okay, that's a very good citizen. He's advising us that we should, this particular period, we should concentrate more on
enforcement.
No. He's saying that we should wear our apron. He's referring to reflective jackets. That's what he called apron. That we should wear the reflective jackets and control traffic. And I can understand that because he's calling from Oka. You know, this period, the corridor from Asaba through Onitsha to Oka is always very hectic. You know that my brothers from the southeast, nothing will stop them from going to their village to celebrate Christmas and end of year. That is when we have a lot of town union meetings, weddings, chieftaincies, and things like that. So we are prepared for the traffic for that corridor. And I'm assuring him that he will see all our staff wearing that apron that he talked about. We are also going to have our volunteer group, the special marshals will join us. We are also having other people joining us. We have our sister security agencies, they are joining us. We are going to make sure that people will be able to drive safely and without any obstruction to reach their villages wherever it is in this Nigeria, this period.
Okay, thank you so much, Pius, for your interesting input there, which is being appreciated here. Alhaji Najim, very worrisome is the place of drug and drunkenness among drivers, mostly, especially commercial drivers. What is your advice? I know very well that the traffic management agencies have been doing their best network campaigning, but as a former national president or chairman of National Union of Road Transport Workers and with the NLC now, and also regional chairman of the International Transport Federation Africa, what is your kind advice to this group of persons for emphasis?
Right now, there is throughout the motor parks across the country, there is no anywhere that they sell drugs or alcohol. Before, it happens, but now it's not happening because there are measures taken by the leadership. In fact, the present president of the union have gone through almost about 3 zones. He have visited the northwest, north central, and northeast. So, remaining the 3 zones to make sure that they sanitize and he move into the various motor parks himself and see what is going on there. So, my advice here to the leadership in these various motor parks is to make sure that they did not allow anything like drugs or alcohol to be sold in the motor parks. And as I said earlier, there are a lot of roadside garages, which I will use this opportunity to call on the commuters, the passengers, to make sure that if they enter the various designated motor parks, they are manifested. They are manifested, and the Federal Road Safety Corps, who they are going to be on the highway, should enforce this manifest and ask any vehicle that it doesn't have manifest, let them book that vehicle. So that, because it's very important, because this manifest is what will give us the number of the people inside that car, and which the driver will have a copy. We have a copy at the park and a copy to where he's going to. So it's very important to the commuters to make sure they board a vehicle in the designated parks and they have been manifested before they embark on any journey.
Samuel from Lagos, but I hear he has dropped the call now. Let's go to Wadata. Wadata also worrisome in discussing ensuring safety on our roads is the problem or the challenge or the hydra headache problem of drivers beating traffic lights. I don't know of other cities, but it's a common phenomenon. But in the FCT mostly, beating traffic lights. What is your directorate doing about this?
I had mentioned that challenge when we started this discussion, and I will still mention it again now that we have brought it. Generally speaking, our men are almost or most of this junction to ensure that people that beat traffic light are not only arrested in some cases, but after they were arrested, they were forced to go for psychiatric evaluation, because anybody who beat traffic light is the same thing with somebody who wanted to do suicide, but because what you are inviting is head-to-head collusion. Because if you beat traffic light, then somebody is coming in, definitely. You are inviting her. So you need to actually be examined whether you are physically and mentally fit to drive in the first instance. This is aside from the fact that you have to equally go for 2 weeks training and retraining on road signs, and your vehicle too will be impounded. And that was why in the FCT we have about 5 to 7 mobile courts that are specifically created for some of these offenses, to take care of them, to make sure that people that are applying the roads obey the traffic rules and regulations. And I agree with you that so many people will want to take chance, especially if they realize that at that junctions, the law enforcement agencies are not there. And that is why we continue to enlighten the general public and equally enlighten even the commuters that are inside this vehicle. If somebody beat traffic light, you should be able to caution him, even if the law enforcement agencies happen not to be in that place. You should caution the driver. Now, why are you beating the traffic light? That simple statement will make him change his attitude in the future. So this thing has to generally do with attitude of the motorist. That is the reality. And it is always very difficult to change the attitude. The only thing we can do is to intensify enforcement and ensure that steeper penalties are given to people who violate traffic light especially and goes against one way. Because these two offenses are very, very critical to causing accident in the FCT. Most of the accident you are seeing happens at the junction, especially on the major road. People doesn't have the patience to wait to know that, look, I am the one who is on the major road. So the person who is crossing the minor road is supposed to give way. So these are some of the enlightenment that we have been doing, especially during this festive period and even beyond, so that the FCT motorists will play by the rules and regulation guiding the rules of driving, not only in the city, but in Nigeria.
Professor Samsma, very crucial and critical to road safety in the world and in Nigeria is enforcement. And listening to the Director of Road Traffic Services speak and also the Deputy Commissioner speak, enforcement is key here. But how would a road safety officer, for instance, is on operations, is supposed to arrest and prosecute or enforce or give tickets? He's standing on the roadside, no vehicle, no facilities. You have raised the issue of facilities here, like the VIO talked about enforcement of those who beat traffic. The man is on foot, and the man beating traffic is driving. In what way can this be handled, beside what government is doing? We know that government is trying its best, but we have other groups, maybe in the private sector, maybe through corporate social responsibility. Could they do something to assist, provide facilities for Federal Road Safety Corps and also the Directorate of Road Traffic Services? What could be done?
Yes, yeah, you've mentioned it, so let me just expand on that. That is that the Road Safety Corps and all the other road safety managers, their various agencies actually need to, I kept talking about framework, because it is very, very key. This aspect of infrastructure, facilities, to enable effective enforcement of road regulations, so traffic regulations, is very, very key. You watch programs, or you travel abroad, or you see where they take transportation as a major public safety issue. There's a lot of investment. So it is the responsibility of these agencies to actually look for special funding, whether an endowment from the private sector or government increased funding to be able to secure the facilities that are actually required for effective enforcement. For example, if you talk of driving on drugs, or you need to actually test drivers. So it's even beyond psychological testing. You need to actually identify that this person is driving under the influence. And if he's driving under the influence, the penalties are there. And then you need to also have the capacity, the equipment, the infrastructural facilities to be able to detect overspeeding. You don't have to be out there, but by stopping a car and connecting your equipment to the vehicle to tell you the speed that this car has been running on previously. So and that's what we are really lacking here in this country, that we actually have exposed more of this traffic enforcement personnel
to risks rather because we did not equip them properly. And like we said, they don't have enough vehicles. And can I even say that they don't have enough personnel? Because if it is a major national concern, that traffic management becomes part of increasing our population, increasing our diversity, increasing our productivity. If that's a contribution that the road sector, traffic sector can make to our national GDP, then it takes a lot of investment there to make this work effective. Because like somebody said earlier, everybody wants to be alive, except somebody who's on a suicide mission. Otherwise, you want to go home, you want to drive safely and reach home, but there are a lot of factors. So if I know, for example, as a driver, that if I overspeed, even if road safety is there, even if VIOS is there or is not there, that it will be detected and I will be fined, I will be ticketed, I will be penalized, then I put that into my consciousness. But because most of the management structures that we have to manage traffic and the entire public space do not really have the necessary equipment. So many people take so many things, take advantage of many of the situations and abuse the law, abuse the process, and at the end, we just make the lives of the road enforcement officers to be at risk. So I think funding is very, very important, and that funding should be included in part of the overall framework of road traffic management, so that it receives the House National Assembly attention, and then also legalize the possibility of this management to look for private sector participation in equipping them for effective service delivery.
Well, before we take our concluding thoughts, let's take this vox pop across Jigawa, Delta, and Lafia, beginning with the one from Jigawa State.
Accidents are caused by overspeeding. So it is the responsibility of people who are inside that vehicle, especially commercial vehicle, to notify the driver when he's overspeeding. And that, if it is done, I think it will avert any crash that matters occur.
Citizens have a lot of roles to play when booking a vehicle. They should avoid overcrowded vehicle and alert the union if the vehicle is not good to go.
It's their right to ensure that if they board a vehicle, that the drivers don't overspeed and then don't drive dangerously, so that when accidents happen, they are affected. It's their right to ensure that these drivers are not reckless. It is equally the responsibility of the drivers to ensure that they move from one place and get to their destination safely by obeying traffic rules and regulations.
It's good for passengers when they come to the station, if they look at a car and they discover that the tires are worn out or the car looks rickety like that, they should, inform the people there that they would not like to enter that car. And the same thing, if they see that the driver looks, somewhat drunk or intoxicated, they should alert other passengers.
It's next.
Travel, and maybe they have a target. So they will tell the driver, now please, I have to be in a Benin around 25 minutes or 20 minutes, so the driver will now be speeding.
All the road users, that all of them have to be calm and be disciplined. Let them have patience in anywhere they are going. Welcome is better than sorry.
I'm always conscious of the people I meet on the road. When I mean the people I meet on the road, drivers, the one coming behind me, the one coming opposite me, it's like driving 3 cars, because this period people tend to be careless.
We will have 2 90-ton tow trucks to evacuate all the heavy-duty trailers that may break down or may be involved in vehicular accident.
You don't move out from the park without testing the brake. We have those mechanical checks
that you must do before leaving. You must make sure that your spare tire is in good condition.
Recently, we were just introducing 20 computerized centers as computer that we use in doing the inspection of the vehicles. So the issue of errors is reduced. So if we say your vehicle is 40, it's 40.
Lafia, Nasarawa State. It's our last report tonight.
Have taken 3 hours, you want to make it in 2 hours because you want more money. It's dangerous. And equally, the use of Tokumba tires should be discouraged. Overloading should be discouraged.
It is not the responsibility of authorities only to reduce carnage on the road. It is that of the citizens too. Because once an accident occurs, they discover that not only those in the vehicle are victims, invariably the dependents or relations of the victims are also affected.
This month, we're going to go small because of everybody, some they drive rough, some they drive normal. Okay. So you go there careful the drive.
Carry little loads and carry little passenger and minimize your speed limit so that you can reach safely.
You should avoid overloading passenger, overloading goods and some things. People are awareness and they agree.
So but before we take our concluding thoughts, let's quickly take this caller from Abuja, Shehu. Hello, Shehu.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, please.
Yes, good morning to my director here, Alhaji Wada Tabundugu, and our president today. I say good morning to all of you.
Shehu, go ahead. We don't have all the time.
Yes, thank you very much. I just want to appreciate the director here there. Because actually we went around, I actually personally went around the city today, and I saw he has spread all his men there to deal or to arrest those people that are beating traffic. We want to appreciate his good work. I am the president of Painted Abuja Taxi. I would also want to assure him that we are going to give him a full cooperation.
Okay, thank you so much, Shehu.
His men were all around to ensure that there is free flow traffic in the city. So we want to appreciate it.
Thank you, Shehu. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Quickly, Professor Samsma, we don't have the time because we are concluded now. A respondent, one of the Vox Pop said, welcome is better than sorry. In a few words, by way of conclusion, the Federal Road Safety Corps is doing a lot. The Director of Vehicle Transportation is doing a lot. Even the managers of service providers are doing a lot to ensure safety on our roads. What appeal would you have for hospitals and accident victims? Briefly, please.
Well, that is generally under Police Act, police responsibilities. So I think the law needs to be properly read out that hospitals can receive accidented persons and treat them. And that should actually be the position of everyone who is involved in traffic management, in transportation management. I think my appeal generally is that we should equip transport and transportation and traffic managers. We should equip them, we should educate them, we should train them to be up to date with seasonal changes and with all other framework issues that require their attention for them to be more effective. That way, the public will be conscious of what they are doing and appreciate them because of the positive results that we will all get from their empowerment. Thank you.
It was nice having you on Tuesday Live tonight. Thank you so much. Alhaji Najim, in conclusion, as we move on, we hope that by the end of the day, we move into 2021 successfully. What appeal do you have for drivers and the motoring public towards safety on our roads?
My advice to the motorists at this peak period is that they should abide by the rules sign, and they should drive safely so that to arrive safely to their destination, and we want them to arrive alive. So we wish that all the motorists, those that apply the rules, should take caution of the highway on the road. And the underage children should not allow, the parents should not allow the underage parents to be on the highway at this peak period. This is my advice to the motorists.
Haji Najim Usman Yasin, it was nice having you on Tuesday Live tonight.
Very much.
Doctor, well, by way of conclusion, why would it be that each time a motorist, whether enlightened or unenlightened, sights a VIO, he wants to run?
Maybe the field, their vehicles are not roadworthy, and maybe their particulars are not okay. And those that are applying the roadside, because no any vehicle in the motor parks that is not roadworthy would allow to be on the highway.
What? We are still on?
Yeah. What the my brother Najim has said, anybody who has his complete document and his vehicle is roadworthy, he actually doesn't need to do any U-turn by simply citing a BIO. I have seen such action happening, even personally when I'm driving on my own personal vehicles, yes. But you will see that most of these people that turn, because by citing BIO, has one offense or the other that they are trying to hide. But my appeal to them is for us to continue to be law-abiding and ensure that we play by the rules. And because our slogan is BIO is your friend. So honestly, as much as possible, we are trying to work because we know we are working for the betterment of all the road users in the FCT.
Wadata Aliu Bodinga, it was nice having you on the program tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for having me.
You have heard it all, but quickly, let me ask before I forget.
Okay.
How is the Corps coping regarding the aftermath of NSAS, given what you went through?
Well,
will that affect your operations?
No, not. It will not. Yes, we had it really tough with the NSAS protesters. Our big brother police was attacked, and then we were the next victim. The truth of the matter is that we are the government that people can see very easily. We are always on the road. We are in the motor parks, like I said, we are everywhere. So people were annoyed, and they vented their anger against us, destroyed our property, burnt our offices, and so on. But the government is on top of it. The work that could be repaired or replaced immediately has been done, and we are ready for our end-of-year special operations. So the NSAS disruptions will not disrupt our operations. And we also had some good Samaritans who had come as individuals to help in replacing some of our very critical infrastructure. We also had some civil society organizations that has also assisted. But I tell you, it is not just maybe the office and the facilities there that make the road safety. It is the personnel. And we thank God we were not injured, we were not affected. I mean, our personnel were not affected. So they are ready, they are good to go. We are going to be there. We are assuring Nigerian road users that they are going to have a safe 2020 end of year.
But like they will say, let's hear from the horse's mouth.
Yes.
I asked Dr. Sam Smith this. Yeah. Let me also ask you.
Okay.
We have had cases where accident victims die because of the attitude of hospitals where these accidents occur. What appeal do you have for them, and what does the law say? Just for emphasis before we go.
Well, it is true that it has happened in the past, but it doesn't happen these days any longer. When we carry out rescue, we take people to the nearest available medical facility. Sometimes it will be government facility, sometimes it is a private medical facility, but we have good cooperation with from all the hospitals that you can find along the major highways. However, there is a section of the FRSC Act that punishes any hospital that rejects crash victims. In fact, the fine is about 50,000 naira, but it doesn't happen too often. If there are crashes and we take people to hospital, they accept them. However, hospitals are not of the same capacity. Sometimes the doctors quickly come out and they see that the facility they have cannot take care of that crash victim. They will tell us that the degree of injury this person has sustained, we will not be able to. So rather than just admit the person and allow the person to die, they quickly tell us, then that is not rejection. They are advising us to take the person maybe to a teaching hospital or to a federal medical center, which we understand we will do. But to say maybe they reject, no, it doesn't.
I know you have said that has not happened recently. Just for emphasis, what if a particular hospital is not overwhelmed by a lack of facilities, they reject an accident victim?
Yes, I said there is a section of our act that empowers us to prosecute that hospital, the management of that hospital, and that is what we'll do.
Okay, let's talk to the psychology of motorists now.
Okay.
We have, everybody's a driver. I'm a driver. I'm sure you're a driver.
Yeah.
Why is it that when I sight a road safety officer, I quake? Can you work on our psyche? Are you there to fight or you're there to be friendly?
You know, I said at the beginning that that's why I said we go to the grassroots, we go to look for people in their comfort zone. We go to where people will see us from another perspective, from another angle. You know, I said when they see us on the road, they say they are.
So because of avoiding you, end up having accidents.
Well, I don't know. But what I know is that, for instance, the commercial vehicle drivers have a way of signaling to each other to tell their friends that road safety guys are there.
How can this change?
You know, well, if that will bring safety consciousness, then I don't want them to change. If that will make them to become safety conscious, do things correctly, if it takes that, then it's okay. You know, so sometimes you need to understand, it is, like you said, the psychology of the motorists, that they believe that the road safety, the traffic law enforcers are there. I think it is good for us, just like as pupils in those days, when we see our teachers, we quiver somehow. You look at your shirt, if you didn't talk in, you talk in properly. If there is something that is, you know, that your teacher will complain about, you quickly adjust yourself. I think it is good if that will help us to behave well and ensure safety of lives and property on our roads.
Okay, so there's no need to be afraid of road safety.
No need to be. Road safety is your friend. The way they tell you police is your friend, road safety is your friend.
Okay, that's it on Tuesday Live. Thank you so much, Deputy Commissioner Kayode Fanula, MNI.
Thank you.
It was not having you on the program tonight.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
That's it on Tuesday Live tonight. We looked at ensuring safety on our roads. Thank you for your tweets, and thank you for your call, and also the appeals you made. On behalf of all of us, don't forget to stand with the NTA to fight against rape and rapists. Bye-bye.